The father of African nationalism, Nkrumah gave funds to other nationalist movements and preached the message across the continent.
This mid-20th century is Africa's. This decade is the decade of African independence. Forward then to independence. To independence now. Tomorrow, the United States of Africa.
من ضحايا الليل في الجنوب من زفير الأرض والقلوب من الجنوب إلا شعوب الإفريقية وبنت الحرية في 5 جويلية إلا شعب الثورة المجيد المظفر إلا أبناء نوفمبر تحية إفريقيا
ضوايا افريقيا الام هي هنايا افريقيا الام نجمة ضوايا افريقيا الام هي هوايا
افريقيا افريقيا
Decide.
This is the calling. This is Senegal calling.
Yeah. Congressional miscarriages, emancipation proclamation's a joke. Segregation still on the low. Rebels are bombing everything, everywhere. Some little girls lost teddy bear. Candles burn, that's how we learn. Memorials, Cuban salute, Che. I'm from the project hallway. Recite my oratorios all day. It's suicide, we not unified. Truth or lies, BBC News, you decide.
Wake up, good morning. This is the calling. L'Afrique est en ligne. This is Senegal calling. Wake up, good morning. This is Dakar calling. Yusuf est en ligne. This is Africa calling. Aduna bi alsama de mënatuñu nangu ñun doomi Afrika ngeen gi ñu xool ak benn bët.
Give you the truth like never before. One brother who does that consistently is my next guest, Cedric Muhammad. He's a DC-based economist and hip-hopreneur. He just returned from the African Union Conference in Nairobi, Kenya. Cedric Muhammad, welcome back to the Warren Valentine Show, brother.
Warren, it's a pleasure to be with the Truth Fighters. It's an honor to be on your show. This is the first outlet I've spoken to since I've come back, so thank you very much. What happened was, and this goes all the way back to 1963, 1964. I'm sure you and your audience, to some degree or in great depth, are familiar with the Organization of African Unity,
yes.
Which was set up around the time that African nations established themselves independently from a political standpoint. But most of the countries, even at that early stage, recognized that there was some work that needed to be done to unwind the colonial economy. And so African economic convergence has been a long-term goal of the OAU, which is now the African Union. And so in 1991, under the Abuja Treaty, it was formally established that there would be one single African economic community and that we would move through working on the regional economic blocks in Africa to create one common market and as part of that, one common currency. So the conference that I attended, I was selected and invited based upon a proposal that I had for an African currency to be tied to gold.
You want to back it back up.
But this was the first Congress of African economists that's been set up since the OAU's been in existence to specifically work on this one issue. How do we move to a single currency to take the 53 countries of Africa and put them under one form of money?
Wyclef, how are you, brother? Wyclef Jean. On a track called Million Voices, you are, as far as I know, still the only artist that I actually know of who has literally openly called for a United States of Africa. So I just wanted to thank you and just wonder, what are your thoughts on the unity of Africa?
I mean, my thoughts in the unity of Africa, coming from Haiti, and then the Haitians being from Benin, in Africa, you know what I mean? The idea is, if you look at the course of history, if they ever let that happen, they would feel feared, you know what I mean? They always felt Africa is bigger than Europe,
That's right.
And so if they actually let them organize, you know what I mean? So as you can see through the course of history, they go through Africa, and I mean, they just basically raped Africa, and put it upside down. And I'm just saying, like, enough is enough, It's time, for us to go ahead and say, let them form their own union. And why can't they have their own United States of Africa? If you have the Euro, right, and you have the European nation, right, then you can have the United States of Africa.